I'm here with my friend Furkan.
Selamun alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, brother. So tell the viewers a little bit about yourself and what are we doing today?
Right now we are going to Macedonian Turkish mosque
Okay.
located in Thompson.
So this is like a Balkan mosque. It's not an Arab mosque, right?
Yes, right.
And I see you've got your...
Those people are actually originally from Turkey. I mean, they are Turkish ethnically,
Yep.
but they are from Macedonia. During
Okay.
Ottoman time, they were located there by the Ottomans, so they spread the Islam. So they stood there after the Ottoman Empire collapsed.
Got it.
So they can speak Turkish, they can speak Macedonian. So they are citizens of Macedonia, though.
I speak neither.
So,
So I might be having to rely on you for some interpretation or some shit like that, man.
yeah, but no, well, I mean, they speak English though. They have been living here more than like average 20 years. So, and some of them was born in America. So,
Oh, cool. So that's just like their ancestry.
right.
Okay. I see that you've got your keffiyeh on. You've got your
Alhamdulillah. And
You're-
Trump said that he's gonna deport people who support Palestine. Here I am, Trump. Come and deport me. I am not even a US citizen, but
I don't know if he could get you though, because it was really like the big college campuses, because it was like the reason for that was because they were so prominent and they were so well known. I don't think you, like just some guy sitting here having a conversation with me in middle of nowhere Connecticut, is going to be on his list.
This is Trump, man. This is not a president. He is a king. You gotta take left.
And I don't disagree. Waterbury, Hartford.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that in some respects. I can't say I like Democrats either with all the crazy shit that they do.
Yeah, it is both the same for us. You gotta take left. For us, Democrats, they already started this genocide in
Right.
Palestine.
Biden was way worse.
Yes, you gotta
Waterbury.
Yes. And Biden already supported Israel without any, hesitation.
Okay.
And Trump is just continuation of the, because all the senators are paid by AIPAC.
And a lot of Democratic
Yeah.
senators are Jewish
Also,
as
yeah.
well. Look at...
there are 25 of senators that are not supporting Israel.
Yeah, like Bernie Sanders and Thomas Massey, for example. Those guys are true. And
only
like...
25 of them. The rest of them are
Rand
bought
Paul.
by AIPAC. So
Oh, definitely.
That's why we call America now, there is a new name for America. We call it United States of Israel. Because...
Oh, yeah, I've been calling it that for like 2 years now.
Yes.
Dude, join the party.
Yes, and that's and we know what happened to JFK, who stood against Israel.
Yeah,
he got
that-
assassinated.
Israel very might have
Yes.
played a part in it. I also know in Pennsylvania they might have stolen some nuclear weapons from a facility or something like that. That's
And I
been
don't
talked
understand these Americans who is supporting Israel. You know why? Because
Oh,
they say
you're talking
it's
about the evangelical Christians, right?
yeah, probably. Majority of them evangelical Christians and who are older generation. Now the young generation are already wake up. What's going on in Palestine?
Yeah, among younger Americans, it's pretty much younger
first of all-
Jews and Christians,
Okay,
evangelical
first question to
Christians.
ask
That's
those
still-
Christians.
Yeah.
First question to ask these Christians.
Yeah.
Who killed Jesus?
We don't. I think it was the Romans, but I know what you're gonna say.
Who killed him? In first place. And who called Mother Maria as a whore? Who called Mother Maria? She was such a whore that she slept with some guy and she's lying.
No, it was
She's a virgin.
immaculate conception. Excuse me, it was immaculate conception.
So that's what they call her, And also
Right.
Jesus was not a good guy for them. He was such an asshole for them. And you gotta take right, by the way.
Oh, Bristol.
Yeah. And then they literally tell those things about, and we are Gentiles anyway. So non-Jews called are Gentiles. And when you read Talmud, we are subhuman. That's
Okay.
what their book says. You can open up internet is free, man. You just need to Google some stuff,
No, of course.
So when you Google it, we are not even human according to those people who are Zionists. And I have no problem with Jews, But there are people who...
Yeah, there are many anti-Zionist Jews actually. Like look at Jamie Raskin and Bernie Sanders,
Yes,
for example.
I have friends who are Jew and who are against Israel.
Yeah.
Israel's idea is like, we were here 3,000 years ago. So from their logic, as a Turk, I can sell that 3,000 years ago we were located in today's Uzbekistan. Now we
Yeah.
can go and claim that that's our
Kazakhstan.
land. Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan.
Yeah, all those Central Asian stand countries.
So it doesn't make sense. Or from religion perspective, we can also talk. Just because I am Muslim, I cannot go to Saudi Arabia and claim that this is my land because I am Muslim. No, I have no right to do that. Even though I am Muslim, that's holy plant of ours,
right?
Saudi Arabia, but it is for Saudi Arabians.
And you know, I have like many of us here in New England, a lot of us white guys. I'm a mix of Polish, Italian, Ashkenazi, Jewish myself. I have some relatives that were killed in the Holocaust, ancestors. My great-great-grandfather, for example, a couple of my great-grandmother's siblings. And I definitely think that the creation of a Jewish state was long overdue, but why did it have to be there? They could have put it anywhere in the world.
Right.
That was more the problem I had with it. I do think everyone has a right to stick to their own kind, and if you want to mix, you're free to mix as well, as we do here in New England, especially New York and Connecticut and Massachusetts. But like, you know, they could have placed that Jewish state in 1948 anywhere in the world. They chose right in the middle of the Middle East, a bunch of Arab and Muslim countries where there were already millions of people living there. It was the worst possible place to place it.
Yes, exactly.
They could, I mean, I was looking at some other spots. They were going to place it in upstate New York. They were going to place it, I think, like on the border of Mongolia and China was another place they were going to place it. Madagascar or Uganda in Africa. The southern tip of like South America, like Argentina or Chile.
And I have one message to people who is Christian and supporting Israel.
Yeah.
If you care about those people so much, why don't you take them into a very safe haven for them, which is America? You guys have a big country, very big country.
Well, yeah.
And you can give them like Florida or something, and then they will be very safe here. If you care them so much, why would you be generous on someone else's land? Be generous for your own land and give them your land, and and then we're gonna think, okay, you really care about Israelis. They are not even Israeli in first place. They're all Europeans. We met the guy from Joel. Does he look like
that guy Joel? Yeah, guys.
Does he look like?
He appeared in my other video too, which I'm sure if you guys scroll on my channel, you could see West Hartford's Jewish community interviews. Joel was on there.
Yes.
But yeah, many Ashkenazi Jews definitely have serious European features, and because they did mix with Europeans when Jews were there for like 1,000 years from the Middle Ages.
So you can be Jewish and you can be Russian and you can be proud of it and you can live in Russia happily, or you can be Polish. Be in Poland like Netanyahu. He is Polish.
Yeah,
change his name too.
Like my grandpa. My grandpa and Joel and Benjamin Netanyahu. They're all of the same ethnic group.
Yeah, so they are from Poland. They have even Polish surname and everything. So
dude, my last name is literally Polski.
Yes, right.
My real last name, not the name I have on my channel, guys. Pols is my stage name.
So you can be Polish. You can be whatever nationality you are, like American. And then you can live in those countries as a Jewish. You cannot say like, okay, I'm Jewish, so I can go to Israel and claim that it is my land. No,
right.
There's no such a thing. Just like I cannot go to back in Uzbekistan or Saudi Arabia that is my land.
Right.
I cannot claim because I am Muslim. It doesn't make sense. I mean, otherwise the world will collapse if everyone thinks in this same logic.
Yeah.
Everyone will declare war on each other.
Or how about this? Native Americans.
Right.
Can take over the entire United States. They're like 0.1% of the United States. They can take over all the United States. They can kick all the white Americans, all the Arab Americans, all the black Americans, Latinos. Right. They can kick them all out. Chinese and Indian Americans, send them all back to wherever their 4 or 5 generations ago ancestors came from. And then America's going to be populated by what? Like 300,000 people. The world economy is going to get fucked up. People are going to be deported back to countries that they have no relationship to anymore. So yeah.
And I can also tell you that if we had given chance to, the indigenous people of America, that who you prefer, that you want them to stay in your country, which is America today.
Right.
They will choose us first in first place because we Muslims never committed genocide over those people. First people they would deport would be the white people because they killed them. We didn't
I
do
think
anything.
so. Andrew Jackson and the Trail of Tears, for example.
They have no issue with these indigenous people. Even if the chance is given to them to deport people, they will start from white people. So I mean, I think from that even perspective, we are more welcome here than you guys are.
Yeah.
The white ones. You know?
I think Latinos would probably be the most welcome, like Puerto Ricans, because they have
they're more indigenous.
they have a lot of indigenous blood, like
Right.
Taino, for example, or Aztec,
Right.
for example, like they're Inca, you know. But yeah, we just finished prayers, and we're gonna go enjoy. Looks like back here they've prepared some tea.
Turkish tea.
Turkish tea, yeah. So, Furkan's gonna swig that up real quick, as you all can see. A bunch of other individuals, for many reasons, expressed fear of being on video, and I understand that with everything going on right now. But yeah, see what we got here. All right.
You never know. We'll go to the Department of Defense right away.
No, listen, guys.
I'm only kidding, you know.
If you think that if ICE wants to touch any one of these gentlemen, they're gonna have to come through me. My dad's an attorney, all right. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, what we're doing, we're sitting down with some members of the Macedonian and Turkish Muslim community, and we're enjoying some of this tea. Guys, what's in this tea exactly? It's really good.
Black tea.
Just black Turkish tea.
It's the black Turkish tea? Well, it's amazing, really. Okay, so guys, I did actually manage to get a guest here, this Turkish-American gentleman. For personal reasons, he does not want to have his face on camera. So, sir, what's your name?
Nihat.
And you go by Nick, right?
Yes.
Okay. What's your cultural origin? Where does your family come from? Were you raised here in the United States, basically?
I was born in Macedonia. I lived in Turkey the first 12 years of my life. Then I spent the rest of my life here in U.S.
Okay, so you spent the rest of your life here in the U.S. How long have you been leading Islamic prayer services on Fridays at the mosque?
No, I don't do that. We have an imam that does that. I just go up and basically I deliver the sermon, Friday's sermon. That's, in English because our imam is not able to do that.
Okay. How do you feel as a Muslim today with the geopolitical situation, everything like that? There's a lot of tension right now, especially between, evangelical Christians and Jews, often taking the pro-Israel side, Muslims often taking the pro-Palestinian side. Does that often spill into your personal life or anything like that?
Personally, I don't really feel anything different, in my interactions with people. So I guess it has a lot to do with when people look at me and they're like, "You don't look like a Muslim."
Oh yeah, because you're white.
I don't know what I'm supposed to look like, but that's what I get a lot. And so that being said, I think the problem is our leadership, and then basically the media just magnifies what they put out there. And so when I talk about leadership, in my view, Trump is a huge, catalyst in what's going on nowadays. Because I remember when Bush was around, he would get on the media and say, like, hey, we need to be nice to them because they're nice people. There's nothing wrong with them.
Right.
And a few people that are terrorists, they're few in numbers. They're basically pushing their own agenda. It has absolutely nothing to do with our faith.
Absolutely.
Our faith primarily is, Islam. The word Islam is peace.
Right.
We are peaceful people. There are 2 billion Muslims on the face of the earth.
Yep.
If we were all terrorists, there would be no world left.
Yeah, no, the world would cease to exist.
Absolutely.
I think when people also say they're shocked that you're Muslim, they don't know that there's a whole community of Balkan Muslims and Turkish Muslims, like from around the area of Albania, Greece, Turkey. That place. They assume, because most Muslims are either Arab or South Asian, so they assume like Moroccan, Egyptian, Pakistani.
Yeah, we got lost in the crowd very easily.
Yemen, places like that. There's right now been several. I know you said you're a U.S. citizen. There have been several green card holders, United States, university students here, particularly of Muslim origin, who have voiced their concern over how Israel has prosecuted their response to the October 7th, 2023 attacks, which were committed by Hamas. I don't think that anyone denies that.
No arguments there.
But how do you feel about that? Is the Muslim community right now in fear? Is anybody trying to hide their face because they're afraid to speak out on that issue? And I could totally understand if that is in fact the case.
I think within our community, basically the Balkan Muslims, because as I mentioned earlier, we kind of get lost in the crowd. We're not, we don't stick out as Muslims. We don't really see any kickback.
Okay.
I think that kickback is primarily from the Arab community because they kind of stick out, particularly their women, because a lot of women wear the hijabs.
Yep.
And they very
Furkas.
easily stick out as Muslims. A lot of them, Balkan women, they dress like very much like an American Westerner, but there are some that wear the hijab and they kind of stick out. And I'm not sure that I could speak for them as to what they experience in normal life. But yes, people that look Arabic are, I think, in my view, from what I'm reading, are kind of singled out
Okay.
in a negative way.
Right. Right. You know, there's also a little bit of instability in Muslim countries too. Erdogan, Recep Erdogan, he's really tried to crack down on having elections and stuff like that in his country. Do you at least feel like even with those setbacks and negative issues we have here in the United States, do you ever feel grateful that you're here? Because at least we do have some semblance of democracy. We have some, even though it's under attack, some semblance of rule of law and things like that, and some semblance of people being able to express themselves and, have the religion of their true desires and express what they truly believe.
Yeah, I think, there are some people, some journalists and some individuals that kind of speak out against Erdogan. They're jailed. And unfortunately, we don't have that in this country. But outside of that, I do think that life there in Turkey is very much like here. And the country is very much divided in the respect that half the country in Turkey loves Erdogan, the other half doesn't.
Right.
As in this country, half the country loves, Trump, the other half doesn't.
Look,
So the
Kamala
countries are
Harris
very
and Joe Biden.
Exactly. For me, I didn't care for them too much, but it was more so that I really did dislike Trump more than anything else because I think the guy is bad news.
Right, understandable.
That's my opinion.
Yeah, no, understandable. In 2016, one of the first announcements he made was we need to ban all Muslims until we figure out what's going on, right?
Yeah, he has a very clear dislike towards the Muslims, and everything he says and does, points to that.
Even though he did make gains with Muslim voters this past time in November of 2024, but it was a very, very small amount.
But I think
he made way more gains with Jewish voters, which that is understandable.
Yeah, I think that happened because Biden didn't back the Muslims in Gaza and Israel. And so it was a vote against Biden more so than it was a vote for Trump.
Yeah, understandable.
Unfortunately, Trump is the worst of the two evils, and so now we have to deal with him.
Yeah, we'll see. Hey, Nick, it was a pleasure sitting down with you, my friend.
Thank
all right,
you. Good luck to you.
All right, guys. Me and Furkan, we just left. I won't say exactly where it is. The Turkish and Macedonian mosque. Many individuals we will be going to. That's the Berlin Mosque, right? Right. Which is more Arab. Has more Arab Muslims that tend to attend that area. We will be going there next week. Probably around Friday of next week, as that's Muslims' typical day of prayer. Yeah. Due to the events going on right now, for example, in Somerville, Massachusetts, you have the deportation of, I think her name was Rumea Ozturk, who said something critical of Israel. Many individuals in that mosque did not want to talk, and that's completely understandable.
And she was Turkish too, so...
Yeah, she was a Turkish American, or I'm sorry, she wasn't Turkish American. She was living Turkish. In the United States. Yeah, she had a green card or a permanent resident type situation going on there. But yeah, so the sort of shyness, the timidness that we received around expressing opinions was very few and far between.
Yeah, I felt like I was in Russia. Because if you do the same thing, you will receive the same reaction from the people. They will be afraid of speaking against their government's view because it is Russia. You will be not only get deported, but you will be lost.
Right.
That's what the Russia do. That's why they are Russia or North Korea.
Right.
But America becoming like a North Korea right now because no one can express their own perspective. They cannot we are not even talking about the critic of being critical of America.
Yeah.
Critical of Israel, foreign government.
Yeah,
They're
an
afraid.
ally of America. I say that. I mean, I've got Jewish ancestry myself personally. I think that is just absurd.
Turkey is allied too, even more allied than technically. Turkey is more allied.
NATO.
So, because we are NATO.
Yeah.
Israel is not even NATO. What's the connection you guys have between Israel and America?
Cha-ching. That's the connection. It's AIPAC funding a lot of these,
exactly.
and the Miriam Adelson giving Trump, for example, $300 million. That was a big part of it. That's why Trump has taken such strong pro-Israel stances with these deportations. You have also a lot of individuals. I mean, look at Joe Rogan and Charlie Kirk and Dave Smith, sort of like the whole manosphere of the right. And, these guys are anti-war, and I completely understand why, because whenever a war kicks off, who has to go clean it up? It's going to be young men that have to go die, right? So I understand that whole...
And who benefits? Who benefits from the war?
Not the people fighting it.
Yes.
Not the people not the, American vets that come back with PTSD and die over there and get their limbs blown off and, can't find housing and are on the streets. Certainly not the actual fighters. So these guys being anti-war, I completely do understand. But I would say, the biggest shock that even I'm having is Charlie Kirk, Joe Rogan, Dave Smith, looking into their opinions. These guys are now on our side. They agree with us. And when I say our side, guys, I'm not Muslim. I'm talking about the fundamental First Amendment right in this country to express freedom of speech, your freedom of opinions. And none of these individuals that they're rounding up, that one guy they just did in Vermont, the Columbia student, Mohsen Madawi, I think his name was. He's been very outspoken. He's a Palestinian originally from the West Bank. He's been very outspoken when he was a kid. I believe an Israeli soldier shot and killed his best friend right next to him when he was about 10 years old. He's given many interviews about that. Furkan, I'm not sure if you know who he is.
Yeah, Mahmoud Khalil.
And Mahmoud Khalil as well. Yeah. Who is Palestinian Syrian, I believe.
Right.
And I saw something sketchy. They're trying to deport him to Algeria. That's like some weird black site type shit. The only time I've ever heard of that is after Guantanamo. If they release detainees from Guantanamo Bay, they'll just drop them in some country that has nothing to do with their citizenship or origin.
Right, because he has Syrian citizenship.
Yeah,
Syria.
Mahmoud Khalil is of Syrian descent, I believe, or he has Syrian citizenship now, which is very common.
No, he's Palestinian, but he's from...
Right.
He's of Syria.
Since the Israeli occupation, I believe, of 1948, and I say occupation, and guys, the important thing is I'm supportive of a Jewish state. I think that after the Holocaust, a Jewish state wasn't important. It was an important thing, but it did not need to be placed there. They could have placed it anywhere else in the world, and they chose that at the time, what was Palestine. That was just a really stupid, reckless choice. And of course, the guilt that the Western powers felt after the Holocaust, it was, let's get behind this. Let's create a Jewish state, which is fine. But where do you put it? And are there already people there? Well, there were already people there. That one action is the source, at least I believe, of all of the, tension in the Middle East right now. At least the overwhelming majority, and at least the U.S. being involved, right? We wouldn't be involved if it wasn't for that. And many American Jews having dual American-Israeli citizenship. And there were people that were always on the anti-Israel side. Look at Myron Gaines from Fresh and Fit, Andrew Tate, Dan Bilzerian. Look at Candace Owens. So this is definitely a complex issue. And you are starting to see towards the Trump administration a lot of backlash on this clampdown of, anti-Israel, or not even anti-Israel, I would just say critique of Israel,
right.
Acknowledging that Palestinian lives are human too, type speech. And although, guys, this time around, I didn't really necessarily get that much content, we know the reason why for that. I thought it was interesting. One individual I interviewed, he claimed he was camera shy, but this guy's able to stand up in front of a whole mosque of about 50 to 100 people and deliver a speech. Is he really camera shy, or is he afraid of saying the wrong things?
About Israel, not about America. About Israel.
Not even about America, specifically about Israel. Because that's why, that's the hot button issue right now between Westerners, mostly evangelical Christians and Jews, taking the pro-Israel side, and Muslims. That's the hot button issue. Was he afraid he would say the wrong things? It's very nice hanging out with you today.
Nice to meet you.
And I really like that you took me around. You showed me a little bit more about the Muslim community, and I'm very grateful for that.
Right.
And to my audience, although we are small right now, I hope to be growing you all in numbers so I can show you the magic and the voices out here in Connecticut that you often don't see, and in other regions too. So take care, guys.